Hello and welcome to the 10 Commandments of Effective Lifeguarding, presented by West Bend. The aquatic safety experts at West Bend designed the 10 Commandments of Effective Lifeguarding as a one-stop resource for lifeguards and aquatic directors across the country. You can visit our website at cultureofsafety.com for a more in-depth analysis of each of these commandments. In this clip, we'll be focusing on the first lifeguard commandment. A responsible lifeguard will avoid all distractions. While constant connectivity can make a lot of tasks easier, lifeguarding will always require constant vigilance. The problem is, we are all distracted, plain and simple. The words multitasking have taken on an all-new meaning in an era of text messages and app stores. It seems it's almost not even worth doing something these days if you can't do an entirely different something at the very same time. And you don't have to look far for proof. People text while sitting on bikes in the middle of the street. Cowboys text and gondoliers do as well. We text while walking on the beach or at the top of a mountain, while sitting in a park or sitting in a classroom. People text before running a marathon and before learning to walk. Zombies text and Santa Claus does too. Some even choose to text while on the line of duty, like here in Rome and here in New York City. So if everyone is doing it, what's the big deal? We think the deal is pretty obvious. The problem with text messaging is what we've coined the head-down dilemma. It's difficult to send and impossible to read a text message without looking at a phone. And when this is on this, you can't do this effectively. And when you don't lifeguard effectively, you miss things like this. Most folks agree that distractions of any kind are detrimental to effective lifeguarding. So why are we seeing reports like this one from the New York Times? In Arizona, a child had to be rescued by an attentive pool guest and not the lifeguard on duty because the guard on duty was too busy texting. Unfortunately, there was no attentive guest to rescue an Illinois man. He drowned while the lifeguard on duty was busy texting. And yet another drowning, this time it was a 10-year-old boy, while the guard on duty chose to send a text rather than survey the water. At this point, we're hoping you recognize that distractions don't belong anywhere near a lifeguard. But how do you go about putting an end to it all? We have some easy-to-implement ideas that should do the trick. The easiest way to prevent distraction is also the most important, a zero-tolerance policy. When it comes to protecting swimmers, there are no second chances. The same should go for major rules violations. So you've instituted a zero-tolerance policy and you still suspect lifeguards are texting. Have the guard retrieve a dive brick or ask them to swim some laps. Whatever you do, get them in the water. Asking a lifeguard to enter the water and simulate a rescue will typically reveal any unwanted distractions. After all, nobody likes a soggy cell phone. This may be the most out there suggestion, but we think it would do the trick. Without pockets, there are few places to conceal phones. Guards should only be wearing approved clothing in the first place, so enforcing this rule would only be a matter of providing pocketless trunks and sweatshirts. Lastly, we encourage you to empower the patrons and lifeguards at your facility. Ask members of all ages to keep an eye on the lifeguards to ensure they're surveying the water. Also encourage lifeguards to keep an eye on one another. After all, a drowning affects everyone. Most folks will jump at the chance to get involved, and they'll appreciate the desire to provide a safe environment. If you weren't convinced already, we hope you now appreciate how dangerous distractions like texting can be while lifeguarding. For more information on the 10 Commandments of Effective Lifeguarding, visit West Bend at cultureofsafety.com. We also encourage you to connect with us by searching for Culture of Safety on Facebook and safety_West Bend on Twitter.